guys, thanks for joining. My name is Douglas Moore, and today I'll be talking about the Korg SV-1 Digital Piano. Now, this digital piano is a little different from some other workstations that I've had. I've been playing piano for about 17 years, and throughout those years I've had different keyboards and digital pianos. And I really like the SV-1 because it brings you down to the core of the instruments that you're playing. They've focused on electric pianos, clavs, organs, and acoustic pianos, and have really attempted to give you a simple interface that allows you to really focus on what you're playing instead of trying to dive through menus and things like that. So this is not a workstation. This is more of a digital piano, but it has some other authentic sounds in it as well. A couple of things before I get started, just so you have a background of what the sounds you're hearing are coming from. Everything's going straight into a small Behringer mixer that I have. No effects. My condenser microphone is going into that mixer as well. All of those channels are being dumped through two outs into the two ins of my Novation Ultra Nova. And I'm using the audio interface on that, no effects. Everything is straight in, straight out through USB to my laptop, where I'm running traction to record a stereo mix of the microphone and the Korg SV-1. So just kind of a little bit behind how I'm recording what you're hearing. No effects. Everything is straight out of the keyboard into the mixer, into the Novation Ultra Nova, into my laptop being recorded. No processing, nothing like that. What you're hearing is what you would get if you plugged headphones into the keyboard itself. So I've been playing for about 17 years, piano and keyboard, and over those years I've had a few different digital pianos, and I've got to say that the Korg SV-1 is one of my favorites of the ones that I've played and owned. What I like is that they've really simplified the interface, and especially for live use. I play in a band, and when you're playing live, the last thing you want to do is dive through menus. So what I like about what they've done here is put everything on the front panel. As you'll see as we look at it, they've put everything there so that you have quick access to effects, sound changes, things like that. So let's dive right in and take a look at some of the features and sounds of the Korg SV-1, and I'll kind of talk about my opinion and my review of this digital piano. Okay, let's take a minute and talk about the front panel of this keyboard. Over here on the left, we have an authentic tube amp, and this is really nice because we can add some warmth or distortion to our electric pianos, our organs, things like that. We can really add this to any of the instruments, but for the authentic sound, it really works well with like an electric piano. We have our master volume, we have our 3-band equalizer, and for each of these sections, the equalizer, the effects, we have an on-off switch. So we could bypass the equalizer section altogether, the same with any of the effects. So we have 3-band equalizer, we have our pre-effects, these are compression, tremolo, vibrato, and some other ones. You can control the speed and the intensity of these as well. We have our amp models. We have our sound categories and selections. There's 6 categories: electric piano 1, 2, clav, piano, organ, and other. We have in the center here, we have 8 favorites buttons. These can be assigned to our favorite sounds. This is really handy for live. You can just tap on these and it calls up the presets that you need. We also have modulation effects such as chorus, phaser, rotary. And we also have a slow fast button for when we are doing our organ sounds. We can control the slow fast as well as the speed and intensity of the rotary effect. I like that compared to on a workstation you might have a modulation wheel. I like having the slow fast button just like you'd have on an actual organ. We also have on the very right hand side a reverb and delay, and a few different presets under there: hall, plate, room, spring, as well as the depth of the reverb. And then a nice little on-off toggle switch on the very right-hand side. I have the 88 key version. These keys are weighted, progressively weighted, so on the bottom they're heavier and then lighter on the top, just like a grand piano would be. So while we're talking about pianos, let's just jump right in and listen to some of these piano sounds. I'm going to mute my microphone while I play, just so that you don't hear the clicking of my fingers. It's really not that bad. If I mute the keyboard, this is the sound of my fingers on the keys. But instead of muddying up the mix with that, I'm just going to mute my vocal whenever I play, giving you the true sound of what is in the digital piano. One other note, this is a fairly heavy, I believe it's 50 pounds, which I personally like because it doesn't bounce around like some of the light workstation digital pianos out there that, you know, they're made for traveling, which is great, but then they bounce around the keyboard stand. They feel flimsy, plasticky. This has a very solid feel. It's made, the bottom of it is wood, and it's very solid construction. I've gigged with this many times, no problems whatsoever. It is a little heavy to lug around, but it's something that you live with, and I prefer that because it gives me a more solid feel. Let's take a listen to some of the sounds. This is the piano category. This is acoustic pianos, and this is preset 1. Nice sounds on the low end. Right up through to the top. I really like the range of that piano. Another one that I like is preset 4. I use this a lot. This is more of a natural sounding, a hair out of tune sometimes, but it really gives you a very authentic sounding piano. I like to put a hall reverb on this as well. Gives it a really nice, soft, natural sound. Again, a really nice sound there. When you hold the damper pedal on this, they've built these sounds so that if I play 3 notes together here, you get a simpler ring, but if I hold the damper pedal, you get even more ring from the strings around it, which is just like a regular piano works. So I really like the attention to detail that they've put into these sounds.